All right, coming up on the Factor Uncensored tonight, a former Houston police officer caught on camera using a racial slur, now fighting to get her job back. The viral video sparked outrage, so why is she appealing? We'll talk about it. And Houston has a new title, one of the most sinful, forgive us, Bishop, sinful cities in America. So are we really that wild, or is this study full of it? We're breaking down why H-Town landed near the top of the list.
The Isiah Factor Uncensored starts now.
And welcome to the Factor Uncensored. Tonight, we start with a story that sparked outrage and continues to draw anger in the city and around the country. Former Houston police officer Ashley Gonzalez is now fighting back, filing an appeal after being terminated by the Houston Police Department. Now, this follows a viral video that shows her using a racial slur multiple times. And now people are asking, why would she even appeal this? What's going on? Let's take a listen.
Y'all don't know how good it felt to say like out loud. Like, goddamn. Oh my God, I felt like I was back in the Marine Corps. Like, I kid you not. I don't know what over me. I grabbed neck and I was like, come here. Oh my God, like I felt like the world just stopped.
We want to hear from you. Text us your thoughts tonight, 713-581-9914. That number again, 713-581-9914. This case has already had ripple effects, from public outrage to a closer review of cases she was involved in. Now we are all asking what happens next. Joining us tonight, Waller County Constable Herschel Smith and Bishop James Dixon with the Houston branch of the NAACP. Glad to have you both here. First of all, Bishop Dixon, your thoughts about the appeal that she has filed. Now, we're told by the Houston Police Officers Union, 90%, nearly 90% of officers who are terminated file an appeal, no matter how egregious it may be to the public. Your thoughts?
Well, first of all, thank you for having us on, Isiah. This story continues to unfold. I'm just really shocked and flabbergasted that with all the blatant evidence and the public outcry from everyone from the mayor to pastors in our community, social justice workers and everyone else, that this former officer would have the audacity to actually appeal this. It would seem that at some point, I was hopeful that she would feel somewhat convicted that I've really gone too far, that I need to take some self-analysis, rethink, and maybe repent and decide I can live differently. But she's obviously taking a position that I'm going to defend whatever rights I think I have to appeal, and there's no sign or evidence of contrition. I think that's quite a negative. So I'm really appalled by that. But again, the legal process is a legal process. The hope, of course, is that this is quickly denied. And because if it is not denied, then there's something deeply flawed within our system that will say this person can do that kind of wrong and still have consideration for an appeal and be compensated.
And Constable, I'm not sure how your system works with Waller County, or is the county similar to municipalities, cities, where you have the opportunity to appeal your termination, to go before a board or an arbitrator and let them decide? In Houston, she will go before an arbitrator and the arbitrator will decide.
It depends on the policies, what the policy said, and whatever was written in the policy with the appeal process. But, just hearing this, the old saying is not what goes in that defiles us, what comes out is what defiles us. And as a police officer, we have to be very careful about what we say and how we say it, because people are looking for something to
nail you with.
Right. Yeah. They're looking for something all the time, you know, and these kind of things happen behind the scene. And it goes on, but we very seldom get a chance to hear it. For her to just be on social media and just being real loose and letting herself go like that, only God knows what she have done to people of the race that she was talking about. And it's just sad to hear that.
And Bishop, we know there are at least 30 cases involving people of color, specifically black individuals that she may have played a role in, investigated, and they're reviewing those cases with the Harris County District Attorney's Office. Do you think those cases should be thrown out, or because of the possible serious nature of the offenders involved, it should be looked at carefully and then go from there, but not just thrown out?
Each case should be investigated individually, in my opinion. However, racism is always looking for a place to happen, and it happens where a person matriculates the most. So I would not be surprised if we see other egregious acts on the record, but it needs to be investigated. The other piece is this, Isiah, that the public outcry, I think, could be a bit different. I've not heard locally any non-African-American pastors speaking out against this. I'm waiting for the totality of the public outcry against this kind of behavior. And of course, again, if this system allows an appeal and grants it, it tells us something deeply flawed. We're living in an America right now where racism is unabashedly open, blatant, and people feel they have the right to say what they feel and do what they think. And that's a negative for all of us, and I'm hopeful again that this is shut down as quickly as it should be.
And I had a chance to talk to someone who said that they they took some calls in reference to this situation, and they were surprised to learn that a lot of people were actually supporting her, saying, look, black people use that word all the time. Why should she be terminated for it? Irregardless of the context that they heard her say it in. But are you guys surprised that some individuals out there would say, look, I don't think she should lose her job?
Well, you know, some people don't have the attitude that most people have. So therefore, when they hear things, they take it real lightly. But when you've been involved with racism and you really see it on a regular basis, you're gonna say something about it. You're not gonna just sit back and just say, hey, no, that's, you know, you gotta say something, because we're going backwards instead of forward.
Okay, and here's a good point that we brought out, and similar to what I just said. Someone says, texted us, it's okay for blacks to talk the S word about whites. Where's the conversation on that? Well,
first of all, we're talking about someone, and that's a whole other context. The interpretation is based on the contextualization, and I think that this will be dealt with. But let's remember this. We're talking about a licensed police officer carrying a gun with a badge with racist feelings about a particular race of people. And I think we got to elevate that. This is not just someone on the streets. This is someone carrying a badge and a gun with the right to arrest people, to get them thrown in jail, and to change their lives forever. So that's a higher level of accountability. So let's talk about, not talk about everyone, let's talk about this particular one in this uniform for HPD, being paid by taxpayers, that she is paid to protect, to defend, and honor and respect. You can't do that and say it's okay. And I hope the appeal is turned down. But beyond that, I'm looking for us to be as blatant, as anti-racist as racists are saying today in this America. It's okay to feel that way.
And really quick, one viewer says, am I right or wrong feeling like her decision to appeal is basically saying she doesn't see anything wrong?
No.
Really quick.
When you feel entitled, that's the way it is. You know, some people just feel entitled that they can do certain things and get away with it, and that's the way they feel, you know, and that has to change.
All right. Remember to text the number on your screen there to join in the conversation, 713-581-9914. And I have my good glasses on today. I can read your comments. You see? You saw me tonight, flawless. Coming up next, new questions in the sudden death of an NBA player just weeks after a drug arrest. What went wrong? And were there warning signs out there? And later, Houston just landed on a list you might not be proud of, or some of you may be. One of the most sinful cities in America, but how did H-Town rank so high on that list, and do we deserve it? Our panel is here to talk about it next. Don't go anywhere.
the best viewed moment.
And welcome back to The Factor Uncensored. Tonight, new details in the death of Memphis Grizzlies forward Brandon Clarke. The 29-year-old was found dead Monday, and now authorities are investigating a possible drug overdose. Just weeks earlier, Clarke was arrested in Arkansas on drug charges. Police say he was found with a large amount of a controlled substance. Now, the Grizzlies say they are devastated by the loss and are keeping his family in their thoughts. Earlier, I spoke with former NBA player Mike James and therapist Dr. Nic Hardy to talk about this untimely death. Let's get to it. And joining us now here on The Factor Uncensored, we have with us former NBA player Mike James. Mike, glad to have you with us. And Dr. Nic Hardy, a familiar face here on The Factor Uncensored. Guys, we're looking at the death of Brandon Clarke, 29 years old, who played for the Memphis Grizzlies. And of course, now many are speculating that it could have been as a result of a drug overdose. Many times, Mike, we look at players like yourself, NBA players, and like life has to be great. You're making millions of dollars. What could go wrong? Mike, tell us your thoughts about the death of Brandon Clarke, 29 years old.
You know, you never know the challenges that people are facing in life. We just look at the success story. We look at the great athlete, but we never pay attention to the background. We never pay attention to the family demographic, what they've been dealing with as a child. So, you know, we always talk about mental health, and we talk about how, you know, how important this is in this society today. But we're talking about mental health, but we're not talking really about how do we heal from mental health. We're not talking about mental healing, you know, and I think that that has been the biggest issue in 2026 or in this new time, is that mental health is big, but not mental healing is big. And so, yeah, first the awareness, but now what it is that you're dealing with and how can we help to be able to maintain or help you in these areas where you don't feel like the world is coming against you.
Let's bring in Dr. Nic Hardy here. When you face substance abuse and a drug overdose, 9 times out of 10, you were dealing with some demons that many people probably didn't know about, right, Dr. Hardy?
Yeah, absolutely. I think you're dealing with a lot. I mean, and again, not just a lot behind closed doors, but a lot with a public facing job. You know, there's a lot of pressure, there's a lot of money on the line. And, you know, again, because you have a lot of what most people dream of having, people just automatically assume that you're okay. You know, and again, you know, it wasn't because, you know, he was using the drugs for, you know, to cover up something else. We don't know, but we do know whenever you introduce drugs into the equation, it is used as a way to escape, it's used as a means to cope and really, you know, cover up a lot of those underlying issues that you know, that aren't always noticeable.
You know, and I was just going to say, you know, there's programs You know, there's therapists that you have, and you have access to all the different programs to be able to help you. But the problem is you have to come to that conclusion, you know, so you can be hiding really your true character and your true essence, and you're hiding behind this wall and you're covering it up based off of how good you're playing on the court or how bad you're playing, but you're still dealing with the same problems. I think that the league really focuses on you being a success story, and they give you the platform, and they look for you to be able to figure out how to create business for yourself, figure out how to create a future for yourself, figure out how to create help for yourself, because we've given you the stage and we've given you all this money or whatever you need, so there shouldn't be no excuse. But at the end of the day, you know, they're not really helping you understand how to live the life, because they basically leave it up to you.
All right, and so how do you compensate for that, Dr. Hardy? Is that family, friends, those around you? If they see you slipping, should they nudge you? And are you willing to listen, especially when you're like a professional ball player who's like a celebrity superstar? Whose job is it to nudge you if you don't see it yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. Most of the time, you're not going to see it yourself. People are going to nudge you, but you said it. It's, are you willing to listen? Again, you know, because you have the financial means and because you have a certain level of success, it's easy to believe that you're okay, when in reality, you know, you may not be. It just doesn't show up how it shows up for the everyday person a lot of times, because you have all these other things that can be a distraction. And so I think fundamentally it's always the onus of responsibility is always going to be on the person. But if you really care about someone, you know, regardless of, you know, if they're helping you out financially or if they're, you know, giving you access to certain things, we all have a responsibility to say something to people that we care about and that we love.
All right, Mike James, former NBA player, and Dr. Nic Hardy, we want to thank you both for joining us here on The Factor Uncensored. And, of course, we all send our very best to Brandon Clarke's family.
Thanks.
Such a tragedy. Well, remember, we want your thoughts on topics we're talking about tonight here on The Factor. Text us at the number there on your screen, 713-581-9914. Coming up on The Factor Uncensored, no sleep in the Third Ward, Riverside terrorists. As some call it, residents say the noise, traffic, and late-night chaos are back on Emancipation. So what's being done and who's being held accountable? We'll talk about it next.
This program is being brought to you by Jim Adler, the Texas Hammer.
And welcome back to the Factor Uncensored. The outrage is back again. A constant flow of traffic and noise until 3 or 4 in the morning on the weekends. Yes, we're talking about Emancipation in the 3rd Ward, Riverside Terrace area. It was a major problem last year, and according to those who call the area home, it's back again with a vengeance this year. We were there today. Let's take you there now. Scott, just how bad has it become here in the 3rd Ward, Riverside Terrace? I remember the mayor and the police department making promises last year saying, look, we won't allow this. There are people who live in this area, and you're saying the problems never stopped?
Exactly. The cars that come to these clubs and stuff, they're still coming. They still cruise up and down Emancipation. They still stop at the Sun & Co. before the clubs and after the clubs. And they play music so loud it shakes the windows on your houses. They'll set off car alarms, and it's just nonstop. If HPD's not sitting at the store here, there's somebody else, there's a car that's there that's partying in the parking lot and keeping everybody in the neighborhood awake. Or they're driving up and down Emancipation doing the same thing. It's insane.
And have you guys reached out to HPD? Have you reached out to city leaders to complain about this?
We have extensively, and it has gotten better. They have put more officers on duty, but they just can't seem to stop the motorists that are making all the noise. They may help with some of the bars, keeping their levels down, but then the traffic up and down through the neighborhood is just, it's insane, especially Sunday nights. And it starts really like 4 in the afternoon on Sundays and runs till 2 in the morning on Monday morning.
Wow. And how difficult does that make your life and many of your neighbors around here?
Well, I don't sleep in my bedroom. I have to use another room. I sleep with earplugs in at night so I can get some sleep. And it's, you can't have, an event out in your backyard without being disturbed by anybody. And it's, it's no fun.
And when I initially read into you, I said, well, the mayor and the HPD addressed this last year. But you're saying we still have problems here in this area.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. The mayor came out with, 60 officers, which is probably what this area needs, for one night. And then after that night, everything just kind of turns back to normal. And it's still noisy.
And what do you think it will take to make a difference to allow you guys to live in your neighborhood, your community, in peace?
More citations to the motorists, trying to get them to get in compliance. A lot of these cars and motorcycles, they don't have mufflers on them, which doesn't meet any sound ordinance criteria, doesn't even make state law. And there's nothing to stop them. So, inspections would be a great place to stop them if they could do something to get that done, to stop those guys, or just, simply pulling them over and finding a way to pull over a lot of them at once, because they'll be in a whole row of cars. And HPD, they used to be able to pull over multiple cars at once, but they felt it was too unsafe. So they stopped doing it. I'm surprised they didn't find a safer way to do it instead and still accomplish the same goal of, stopping these people.
So you just heard from Scott, one of the residents in Riverside Terrace, complaining about Emancipation. Now we are talking to City Council member Dr. Carolyn Evans Shabazz, who represents that area. Dr. Shabazz, what would you tell your constituents if they're having problems again this year? I remember we dealt with this last year, and there were a lot of police out there. They made their presence known. So what can be done now?
I mean, it's an ongoing issue. Certainly people are coming from everywhere. This is the district of destination. And so they're coming and they're partying. And I don't think most of them live in the area, but it is a problem. And certainly Scott has really had a tough time because he lives right behind a gas station, which is right there on Southmore and Emancipation. So we are coordinating with the OST Alameda TERS and the Greater Southeast Management District to identify approximately $300,000 in additional public safety funding to support overtime for HPD and Harris County Precinct 7. It's going to take that in the peak nightlife hours along Emancipation, Alameda, OST, and the Dixie corridor. And so the goal is to build on the success of Mayor Whitmire's club task. There is a club task that does address some of these issues, but we're going to have to put some money into public safety to support both, as I said, Precinct 7 and HPD, so that they can come out during those peak hours. And I think that that's going to make a difference. Certainly it's focused on public safety. The traffic flow is very important, the noise concerns, and the overall quality of life for the residents. So I am so very aware of it. It's an ongoing issue and one that we are working very, very hard to abate, which is going to be difficult. You know, without zoning in Houston, clubs are everywhere on every corner, and the residents are having to deal with that, particularly those that live around those areas.
And really quick, Dr. Shabazz, how soon can Scott and others start seeing the presence of those officers with the $300,000 allocated for overtime?
We're trying to get that done very quickly because it's, as I said, an ongoing problem, and we know that help needs to be on the way immediately.
All right, Dr. Carolyn Evans Shabazz, Houston City Council member, we appreciate your time on The Factor and addressing the concerns of your constituents like you always do here on The Factor. We appreciate your time, and we'll be back with more Factor Uncensored in just a moment. Don't go anywhere. And welcome back to The Factor Uncensored. We have your comments here. You're watching the show tonight, and we really appreciate that. Thanks for having her on the program once again, talking about the Houston police officer, Ashley Gonzalez, who has filed an appeal. Also, I feel the officer in question should have been fired. So what she doesn't like blacks, that's her choice, but she can't be a police officer. So why are redline housing, I was thrown off the bus, so all prejudice need to go. Once again, referring to the officer. I firmly believe Ashley isn't the only police officer with HPD that has made similar comments. That's according to some of the viewers here on the Factor Uncensored. Great topics as always. Once again, back to Ashley Gonzalez. She needed to go and get no job in the state of Texas. She is meant to be out. And the racist rant don't need to wear a police uniform and most definitely don't need to be a police officer. Those are some of your comments here. And of course, thank you. We'll continue reading them throughout the night. Coming up on the Factor Uncensored, Houston ranked one of the most sinful cities in America. So how did H-Town land near the top? And do we deserve it? Our panel sounds off next. Don't go anywhere.
You're watching the Isiah Factor Uncensored.
All righty, time for a good time. Welcome back to the Factor Uncensored in our second half hour. Houston has a new title, and some might wear it like a badge of honor. A new study ranks Houston as one of the most sinful cities in America, coming in at number 6. Here's a look at the top 5: New York, Baltimore, Chicago, Los Angeles, and Phoenix. We even beat Las Vegas. So what put H-Town right behind them? The study points to everything from nightlife and adult entertainment to drinking, gambling, and crime. But let's be real. How serious should we take this list? We want to hear from you. Text the number on your screen, 713-581-9914, and we'll read some of your comments. Don't call. Joining us to talk about it tonight, Houston's Lala, Dr. Ariel Ball, King and Rye. Glad to have you on the Factor Uncensored. Dr. Ball, your thoughts about this? You think we deserve to be on this list, first of all?
I think so.
Are we buck wild?
I think Houston is buck wild. People come to Houston to party. And that's what I hear.
It's like the new Atlanta, the baby Atlanta. I wouldn't even say baby Atlanta at this point because I think
we grown Atlanta.
We are grown Atlanta.
We surpassed Atlanta for sure. It's like baby Vegas, if anything.
Baby Vegas, huh? and we got gambling here. Some of it may not be legal.
Yeah.
We got, you know, the 8-liners, everything. Yeah. We got it here. Lala, what are you seeing out there?
Everybody wants to come here. I mean,
and so do you think this list is legitimate, though, that we are a sinful city?
well, you know what's crazy is you hear a lot about Houston, like the destinations and come here to party, the strip clubs, to eat, to turn up. And I saw you had a crime on there. We do got a lot of crime going on in this city, too. So
you and I text about crime all the time. You're like, what the hell is happening in Houston?
But Houston is a turn-up city, and it's crazy how it really became that, because I think when we're here all the time, we may not really think of that, but people love to come here and sin. Everybody's sinning in Houston. Everybody's hooking up with everybody in Houston, which is why I prefer not to date in the Houston area.
Long distance, huh?
It's not slow as it used to be, for sure. You know what I'm saying?
No.
Well, when was Houston slow?
When I was coming up, Houston was slow.
Maybe you were young. You were young. You just couldn't get out in the streets yet.
Right.
Yeah. And I think it's a transplant city now, so everyone's not from here. So when they come here, I came here for work, but other people are coming for different reasons, and it's not to settle down.
And have you seen a change in Houston at all over the years? When did you get here?
In 2018.
2018.
Yes.
So have you seen a change as it become?
Yes, I think after COVID, it seemed like a lot of people transitioned here for a cost of living, but then it became more of a party city, and it's not like family oriented like I thought it was when I moved here.
Right, would you agree?
Well, I'm still pretty new here, so I'm just a fresh
How long have you been here?
Just a year. I'm from Minnesota.
A year? Oh, well, it's time to turn her out.
So far for me, like, all I know is just party, like just super lit. You know, I'm a waitress at Peaches, so that's on Southmore and Third Ward. So I think for me, like, that's just what I know. Like, we're all for providing that experience and just like that good time for everyone. And people literally say, like, you know, we go on TikTok, we look for places to go and turn up, and Peaches pop up and we come and they have a good time. So, you know, I love that part of it. I mean, I wasn't here, you know, years ago when it was a little slower, so
I don't think it was ever. I think King made that up.
I did.
King was like 5 when he wanted to party. He's like, you gotta go to school.
Yeah.
I know, right?
Nah, ever since I've been, I would say like 18, it's been the same. Like, it's always been party. None, ain't no sleep. It's non-stop. It's been there. You know what I'm saying? But I was 18.
It's a different generation now, too, so they've taken it up a whole notch. And even going back to, like, the takeovers that are happening in Houston, like, that's gotten, like, way out of control. I feel like there's always something crazy going on in Houston, and it wasn't like that.
And
I feel
it looks like the crowder is getting younger and younger, like with the takeovers at the mall. Willowbrook, they had to say, don't come in here.
We didn't used to do that. We didn't used to do that, so I feel like COVID, something was in COVID that the energy.
Do you guys think that social media played a part in what Houston has become? Sure. Surely with the takeovers, but in general.
Definitely influencer culture here. It's more social media, even film is getting bigger. So I think people are coming here instead of Atlanta, instead of California, and Houston is now the scene.
People are looking at that Peaches website, and Peaches is doing this to us.
I got some peaches. They got some peaches.
Even surgeries, too. People are flying to Houston to get BBLs done and surgeries done. All that is a sin. Everything we're talking about is a sin.
So when did that become a thing that we did here in Houston?
They getting BBLs out
Plastic surgery like that, or BBLs.
I didn't know Houston
I won't plug in who or what, you know, but yeah, there's a lot of surgeons
You
here.
might as well. She did Peaches all damn night.
There's a lot. We have a lot going on here, and I see a lot of videos through social media, people just talking about Houston, from sports to athletes to music, you name it, they're talking about Houston.
But that's what got everybody coming here, though. You know what I'm saying?
And really quick, someone says Houston was a slow town in the early 70s.
When he was 18, like,
long time
But
ago.
after
18.
the couture changed, different generations change. Out of control, no respect for themselves or another. I assume we're talking about young people and the takeover. So people are chiming in, and if you have a comment, make sure you text us to this number I have on the good glasses tonight. And guys, thank you for joining us here on Factor Uncensored. Don't party too hard, Ryan. You just got here.
You know, it's always a party.
All you got to do is go to work at Peaches and you'll be fine. Here's some wild video. A Houston cyclist hit by a driver who didn't stop. Now she's speaking out about the crash, her injuries, and the road to recovery, and how we need to come together as a city and stop being so aggressive on the roads. You'll hear her next here on The Factor. Don't go anywhere. And welcome back to The Factor Uncensored. The clash between drivers and cyclists can get really ugly here in the city of Houston. We've seen it time and time again on social media. Let's take a look at this incident from Houston just last month. Did you see that? Rider Crystal Campion was riding with her group here in the city when she says she was hit by the driver of that car. That driver, according to police, never stopped and rendered aid. Now, the person has since been arrested, charged, and is now out on bond. Campion says she was left with multiple injuries and had to be hospitalized. Now that she's back on her feet, she joins us here on The Factor Uncensored tonight, and glad you could make it. You're still in a sling. How are you feeling?
I mean, it's been a struggle, emotionally, mentally, physically, but I'm grateful to be here. Thank you for having me.
Glad to have you here and glad you're okay.
Grateful to be alive, definitely.
And just for the record, we reached out to the attorney representing the suspect in this case. We have not heard back. Now, I had a chance to read the charging document in this case that is filed with the Harris County District Clerk's office. And in that document, the driver maintains she didn't know she hit anyone. And of course, police said in that document that someone chased her down, knocked on her window, and tried to get her attention. So we have Crystal here. So obviously, when you hear she says she didn't realize she hit you, what are your thoughts on that?
I mean, how can you not know that you hit someone and then, you know, people go after you and try to get you to stop, and then you still don't stop?
What did that leave you feeling like as a human, as a person, to be knocked off your bike and that person drive off and not say anything or check to see if you're okay?
That was one of the most vulnerable moments of my life. I was lying on the ground. I wasn't able to move. I was in severe pain. I was fortunate that I was with other riders who were there to help me, but I mean, for her, I just don't see how she could do that. Or, you know, these hit and run incidents where people lose their lives. I mean, I think it's horrible and it's heartbreaking, and you know, my heart goes out to the victims and families of those people.
And I ride a lot here in the city of Houston and also in my area, and we've lost a lot of people. A lot of people have died as a result of being hit by cars. And there seems to be almost some hatred with some drivers, mind you, when it comes to cyclists. We're in their way. When we're all allowed to share the road, just be respectful to one another on those roads. You almost had a close call last year.
I did.
Tell us a little bit about that.
I did. So, fortunately, I wasn't injured last year, but I was in the right lane on a two-way street, and a driver basically, I mean, there's another video I did, another interview. She basically came from behind me and came within an inch of me. I was able to swerve out the way, and that was a near miss. I was so shocked that, you know, I was okay. I wasn't as fortunate this time, though. But
HPD,
I mean,
go
I
ahead.
tried to spread awareness about that. I was so grateful, you know, that I was okay, and I tried to spread awareness about it, and, you know, got a lot of backlash, you know.
Well, what did people say?
You know, people saying, oh, well, you weren't hit, you know, you're fine, it's okay. And I think a lot of people don't understand that.
That falls in line, though, with the hatred of cyclists by some people.
And that's what I don't understand, is that, you know, I drive a vehicle too, you know, so I can see both perspectives. Sure, people can get stressed out on the road, I mean, but we all have to be patient, and it's important that everyone makes it home safely, you know, not just the cyclists, not just the people in the vehicles. And if anything, the cyclists, riders, pedestrians are being more exposed. You know, my full body was exposed. You know, she's in a vehicle.
Right.
Yeah.
And of course, HPD once again was able to make an arrest in this case. She's set to go to court, possible trial, or there may be a plea agreement. But what Crystal wanted to do was be aware of the cyclists that are here. Share the road. You don't have to be aggressive, because
not at all.
You could have ended up dead, you know, but you're here with us tonight. And we thank you for sharing your story here on The Factor Uncensored. And once again, we reached out to the attorney of the suspect in this case, and if we hear back, then we will hear their side as well. Thank you for joining us, Crystal. Really quick, go ahead.
Okay, and thank you for sharing my story.
Oh,
yes,
no
I
problem.
really wanted to spread the awareness and make people aware of, you know, consequences. A lot of people didn't believe that there would be consequences, but there are.
All right, thank you, ma'am.
All right, thank you so
We'll
much.
be right back with The Factor Uncensored. Don't go anywhere.
We're ready, so let's...
All right, pay close attention to your screen here. Shocking video out of Gastonia, North Carolina. A man shot and killed by police inside a convenience store. Body camera video raising questions after the prosecutor announced the officers involved will not face charges. When the man walks out the store, he is shot by the cops, killed. Authorities say the man is identified as Derek Manigault. We talked to former law enforcement officer Greg Dupree about this case. Let's get to it and his thoughts. Was this justified? And joining us now here on The Factor Uncensored, we have with us Greg Dupree, a former law enforcement officer and now security expert. Greg, when we take a look at this shooting in Gastonia, where Derek Manigault was shot and killed by two plainclothes police officers, one being Detective, they only released Detective C.H. He's the one you see in the video pulling the trigger. You know, if from the average layman watching that video, I would feel like the officer was in the wrong. But I'm a layman. I'm a civilian. I don't know. What are your thoughts when you see Derek Manigault in that situation get into the argument that was back in January? Of course, they just released the video and people are outraged after seeing it. And they said the gun in his hand, according to investigators, was not a real gun. And the officer involved in that shot him as he was walking out of the store, shot and killed him. Your thoughts on this?
Okay. First of all, Isiah, you have to look at these are, even though it's one whole incident, you actually have to divide this into two separate parts. First, the fact that the guy had a gun, albeit it was a fake gun, but the person he was using to threaten and the cops had no idea of knowing that. So he brought this, and he is the instigator of this entire incident. It's unfortunate what happened to him, but he started it by producing this gun. Now, just on that basis alone, you have to look at the fact that the cop could have easily justified this by looking at what happened and when the guy produced the gun and felt that this gentleman was a threat not only to the guy he was arguing with, but to the public at large. Okay.
But let me ask you this, Greg. Wasn't the threat over? The guy was walking out of the door, as we could see in the video. He was leaving, the one with the fake gun. He was walking out of the door, leaving the convenience store in Gastonia. So
that's the second part I'm coming to.
Okay.
Now, when you talk about procedural errors possibly made by this police officer, the fact that he never asked the guy to drop the gun, at least I didn't hear. Did you?
I did not hear that.
Did you see the guy ever raise the gun?
No.
Yeah. That raises questions. Did he give the victim the opportunity to drop the gun and surrender? And he obviously didn't. The cop never even identified himself. He just immediately started firing. Well, you could say that was overreacting? Yes, you could. Could you say you can question the DA's actions as to why he didn't question the cops' actions further instead of justifying what they did? And I noticed he referred to the Constitution, but what about police procedure and state law in the state of South Carolina? You know, does that allow officers to do it? Do you have does a cop have to give an armed suspect the opportunity to surrender? That's the big question, you know, and that's the question that would be raised in the civil court. You know, why the guy was obviously walking away from you, turned his back to you. Did you identify yourself as a police officer? You know, no, he didn't. People can try to escalate a situation or, you know, be upset in the heat of the moment. And then the guy could have just said, well, you know what? I'm through with this. I'm not angry anymore. You'll never know now because he wasn't given the opportunity to surrender. He wasn't given the opportunity to drop the gun.
All right. Greg Dupree, always good to have you here on The Factor Uncensored with your expertise and years of experience. We appreciate your time here on The Factor Uncensored, sir.
Thank you.
And welcome back to The Factor Uncensored. Reading some of your comments. Some of you people are mean out there, but I'll read your damn comments anyway. As far as Crystal, who's just on here talking about being hit on her bike, someone says she's playing a victim. All of those bikers were blocking the road. They're entitled and aggressive. All of them cyclists, another comment, were hijacking the whole street according to the video. Another comment here referencing Houston being Sinful city. You know they're going to work politics into this somehow. I agree. Houston has an overflow of migrants. This change has brought about violent crimes in our area. Also, bike lanes were recently taken away, and that makes this issue worse, talking about Crystal's segment about being hit by a driver. This younger generation is scary. Parents are different. Kids don't know how to read, no gun control, no respect for our city, no leadership, no respect for the church anymore. Is so sad. And that's in reference to the segment we did tonight, talking about Houston being a sinful city. Thanks the officer for her service and her military service. Yes, let's get to the rest of that because I'm interested. I guess they're saying that she shouldn't be terminated, you know. Ashley Gonzalez, who has been fired by the Houston Police Department for that racial rant. But lots of good comments. Keep them coming, no matter how mean you can be. Damn it. I'll read them. Sometimes I'll ignore them. At Isiah Factor Uncensored, if you want to follow us on YouTube, go follow us there. That keeps the lights on in this studio. Is that desperation? Please go follow us. The lights are going to get shut off here at The Factor if you don't follow us on YouTube. Also, Instagram, X, and Factor. Thank you guys for joining us, and we'll have more of your comments tomorrow night. Have a great one. See you next time. So damn mean. Look at that. Wow.